Hello world, my name is Michael Jolley and I am the Bald Bearded Builder. I have been a software developer for about 20 years in primarily the .NET and JavaScript world. And then for the last year and a half, I've been a developer advocate at Vonage. Shout out, what? And yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at BaldBeardBuild and on Twitch, YouTube, and everything else at Bald Bearded Builder. Get it? Bald Beard. You get it. Anyway, that's me. Yeah, a couple years ago, I started streaming on Twitch. I was doing software development, and I was actually an architect, and I didn't get to code a lot. It was mainly like designing and telling other people what to code. So I thought, you know what, I'd like to code on stream and let others join me. So I started streaming on Twitch and learning stuff that I hadn't done before. Like I didn't do a lot of .NET stuff because I did that for a living. Used as a platform for me to learn and then for others to come along and learn with me. And then just a few months into that, I was getting a lot of responses from viewers like, hey, you made that seem really approachable. And I thought it was kind of like way out there. And then some other folks who were in developer advocacy introduced themselves and were like, hey, you should totally be in this field. Seems like a good fit for you. And honestly, as much as I enjoyed building custom software, I would have, like, you know, that fulfillment you get when a customer uses your code and it works for them, that they love it. You get that self gratification, right? That gratification like paled in comparison to the self gratification I got when I heard responses from viewers saying that we helped them in some way, whether it was soft skills or code or whatever. That was a lot more gratifying because I knew I had affected someone for life. Whereas my software, you know, no matter how good it is, it's probably going to be gone in 5 or 10 years unless it's in COBOL. So that's what kind of made me start wanting to transition that way. I had several people from Bobby Johnson at AltZero and Brandon Satram, who was with Particle at the time, who just really motivated me to maybe look in that direction. And so I went, you know, full bore after it. And yeah, met up with Vonage about a year and a half ago, and it seemed like a perfect fit. They love their video APIs. I love video. So it was a match made in heaven, I guess. Made in Twitch. That's a really good question because I feel like there are so many different levels of people that could join developer advocacy. I don't feel like there's like some kind of threshold that you need to be a developer this long or that long, or you need to be in these stacks, or you need to do this many talks. And I'm not into gatekeeping on that. I feel like there's a place for everybody, just like I feel like there's a place for everybody in development in general. I think we all bring great viewpoints, right? So if you wanted to get into developer advocacy, the few things I would suggest maybe doing is getting involved in communities somehow. It's kind of hard in the pandemic, but you know, there are online meetups, getting involved in those kind of communities, in products you enjoy and love, get involved in their community Slacks and Discords and that sort of thing. Maybe do a lot of blog posts, write about things that you're passionate about. YouTube videos, Twitch streams, all those sorts of things are ways to get you out there and get you experience with teaching and helping others. I think probably the number one requirement for developer advocacy is probably empathy and a desire to help others. So, you know, put yourself in places that allow you to develop those skills. And I think a lot of times maybe it'll come naturally from that. Yeah, I guess. It's a really interesting question because I started in developer advocacy just about 3 or 4 months before the pandemic, right? Now I was brought in to do video stuff, and I think I was partially brought in because of my experience with Twitch and online platforms like that. But I got to tell you, it was almost like just perfect timing, right? I mean, when the pandemic hit, everybody had to kind of figure out, what are we going to do? Because we're not going in person to these things. Well, you know, fortunately, I was just situated at the right spot to already reach developers and had experience doing it online. Like I've given several talks at conferences, but I got to tell you, I feel much more like a fish in water on stream, just hanging out with people. I feel like I enjoy the conversational approach to a live stream more than the conference, let me tell you something approach. I love peer programming. I love working together and collaborating, because I got to tell you, like, the streams when we're even like covering how to do something, I learn just as much half the time from people sharing with us. So how has it changed? I can't even answer that, because I was barely getting my feet wet when, everything kind of changed in the industry as a whole. So for me, it has meant, a doubling down, I guess, of online content, whereas I was already focused on it before. It's just, go harder, better, faster, stronger, whatever. I don't know the words. Yeah. Yeah. So I think at some point we'll go back to in-person events, but I don't think it's going to be at the level that we've experienced in the past. And I think a lot of those in-person events will have online portions to it. The fact that we're able to bring in people from around the world much more easily, much more cost effective. And frankly, it's opening doors to those places. There are people like in, Africa and overseas, like me being based in the US, South America, a lot of those other places that don't have the resources to be able to come to these events. So these online only conferences have been like just opening amazing doors for these people to learn and to engage in the community. And I think we're the better for it. So I think in the future, we're going to be finding ways to engage more people more often and making more room at the table for all of us. And that's so exciting to me. I love that idea. I don't think we've nailed down the online conference framework yet. It's a little webinar-ish right now. I don't think we've hit the sweet spot of how to put on a good online conference. And I think you're going to see some real innovation there in the next couple of years as people try to make it more interactive. I think that's one of the benefits to Twitch, is it's so interactive with the chat. I think you'll find ways to start bringing that into online conference spaces where it's less of a let me talk at you and more of a let's have a conversation and be better together. Yeah.